Hey, so today I had this experience and I've been really reflecting on it all day. I went to get my hair cut, as you saw my silly Insta stories this morning, just having a bit of fun. And I sat down in the chair to get the same haircut I always get, and I had this urge in my head to do this. Well, not specifically that, but to do something funky, shave something into the side of my head. And I was kind of shocked. I was really shocked. I was shocked because all of my life I've been really conservative. I've been pedantically conservative. You know, before I did what I do now, I was a teacher, I was an educator, and I remember what it felt like to just be so tightly wound all the time. You know, I've always been silly and known how to have fun and to connect with people. I've always been me, but I haven't really been me. I've been masked to fit in as a modified version of me. And you know, when I used to see people with that sort of stuff going on in their hair, I had such judgments about it. I really did. I just thought it was attention seeking. I thought it was indicative of low self-esteem, needing to be special, needing to stand out. I had really harsh judgments around that, and I know where that comes from now. You know, most of the time when we disapprove of others, or there's something in other people that I'm uncomfortable with or I don't like, more often than not I'll find that it's a projection of something within myself that I'm uncomfortable with or I reject. And you know, I was hanging on for dear life to be this certain person, that modified version of myself. So I was hanging on for dear life to be conservative and appear a certain way so that I would be respected and accepted and fit in. And that image, this image, is not that, was not that. When I was younger, I had a nose ring for a really long time, and you know, I also struggled with drug and alcohol addiction, among other things. And when I began to get my life together, I decided, okay, it's time to really straighten up now. It's time to take the nose ring out. It's time to really start looking after myself. What I meant in my head was, it's time to present to the world who the world thinks I should be. It just makes me really sad. Because the whole reason that I used drugs and alcohol to regulate and to cope was because deep down I felt that who I was completely unacceptable. That if I really was the true expression of who I am, that would be completely unacceptable to society and inappropriate. I didn't know I was autistic, but I knew I was different, and I thought there was something very wrong with me, very wrong. And all of the things that I had witnessed and observed growing up that society rejected in others, I actually identified with a lot of those things. It's only been in the last 12 months that I've really started to come into my truest expression of my autistic identity, or who I am. And autism is central to my being. It influences everything, every part of me. The way I think, the way I respond to the world, the way I feel, the way I love, what I find funny, the way I construct my lifestyle, the way I support myself, the things I like or don't like. It all comes down to having an autistic neurotype. And when I found a community of autistic adults and I started to read the stuff that was written and to identify more and more, I started to like myself. For the first time in my life, I started to think, hey, I think I'm okay. I think I might be okay. And I started to think about what do I like? What do I actually like? And what's part of the masking? What have I told myself I like that I don't really? What have I trained myself to think that I don't really think? I don't think people really understand how deep masking runs. It's so incredibly sad. It's so incredibly sad for autistic people that we even fool ourselves in our masking. It began with music. What kind of music do I like? Listening to music and allowing myself to actually like what I thought I liked. It's okay that other people don't like this, or it's okay that this, stopped playing on the radio 30 years ago. It doesn't matter. What colours do I like? What do I want to wear? And I started wearing colour. I started wearing clothes that expressed who I am and how I feel inside, because my personality is big. It's larger than life. And I like my clothes to show who I am, to be expressive and colourful and out there. I think people seriously underestimate the courage that it takes just to do that. Just for an autistic person to wear what they want to wear, because we spend such a large part of our lives being so stifled by the pressure to conform. And I've heard non-autistic people say, oh, we don't feel pressure, we just, don't really think about it. Far out. It causes mental illness and chronic illness in autistic people, because we're not born. We're not here for that. We're just not here to just play it safe and go along and be who everyone else is. We're not here for that. And that's why we become so messed up, because we're here to bring change. And we can't evolve until these people like us that come along with these different brains start using them, start expressing. And I know that a lot of people don't feel safe to like themselves or feel afraid to say anything good about themselves. And I know when I sit here and I say, hey, I'm autistic and that's good, and I'm here to bring change, a lot of people will think, oh, she's a narcissist, she's got a narcissistic personality disorder, or oh, she's a bit full of herself. And so many people live in fear of that judgment. I just want to be who I'm supposed to be. Doesn't everybody? Doesn't everybody just want to be who we are supposed to be? So, I'm getting way off track. I started to wear colour. I started to eat in a way that I knew was suited to my body. I stopped having so many rules, and I stopped engaging in things that made me feel anxious and unwell. I gave myself permission to seek help for things I wouldn't have asked help for before. I gave myself permission to sit with the discomfort of not being approved of by others, sometimes by myself. A lot of the time when I post videos or I write something, there's that thinking in the back of my head, oh, Kristy, you're too much. You're too intense. Feelings are too big. Your words are too much. Your thoughts are too deep. Because this is what autistic people, this is what we're told all our lives. This is the message we receive. And when you're children, or when you're young people and people tell you that you're too sensitive, or you feel too much, or you think too much, or you look into things too much, that sounds like a problem, right? They don't say it like it's a good thing. They don't think it's a good thing. And a lot of the time people are trying to protect us when they say that. But it's something that sticks with us and makes us feel inferior, and it others us. And I want you to know that if you're one of those people like me, those are beautiful gifts. Those are incredible gifts, to be sensitive. To be sensitive and to think and feel deeply. And to be impacted by the emotions and energies of other people. And to be able to connect with people the way we do. And to have the whole world talk about us as though we're disordered and there's something terribly wrong with us and that we need to be modified, as if we haven't modified ourselves enough as it is. How amazing are we, really? How amazing are we? So I shaved into the side of my head today, and this... these are all the thoughts and feelings it's brought up. So there's the deep thinking and the deep feeling and the reflection, just because I had some shaving done into the side of my head. Something that seems really small is really huge. You know, just the day when I cut my hair off, I couldn't believe I was cutting my hair off. Every single change I've made along the way has come from a place within that I feel hasn't been a conscious process. It's been this intrinsic motivation, and then eventually it becomes a conscious thought. I'm going to do this. I'm going to cut my hair off. I'm going to wear colour. And you know what? Who knows what comes next? Who knows what comes next? I've lived for so long not knowing who I am and trying to establish an identity or work out what my identity is. And now, you know, I know I'm autistic. There are a lot of things that I know about me that I don't share with the world that is also part of my identity, and our intrinsic selves, they know. My intrinsic self knows who I am, and I'm just catching up. My intrinsic self has known all along who I am, and it's teaching me, it's showing me. It's showing me through an unconscious process that becomes a conscious process. This is who you are, and it's okay, and it's safe, and I really wanted to share that because I know a lot of people go through this. And I really want to send love and pride out to my autistic community. I really want to send love and pride out to my community. You are all amazing human beings, and if you are a person raising an autistic child, or a child who is diverse in any way, please be willing to sit with the discomfort of fear. Please explore that fear may be a projection of your own insecurities and fears. We all have them. Please allow your child to be whoever they are, because it's in our most authentic expression that we find our best selves.